What's up traders, welcome to Failure to Displace. In this video we're taking a look at this morning's London session on EURUSD. Unfortunately I wasn't able to get in on a trade. The setup occurred inside the silver bullet hour just after the macro, which was outside my trading window, so I was away from the chart and missed it by about 1 minute. Really nice setup. I will go through the analysis this morning with you to show you why I was looking at this particular area for a reversal. It has eventually led to well over 4R if you were to get involved in this. So let's jump into the analysis now, see what led to this setup. So I've just got to the charts. We need to check our financial calendar, see if we've any news on. Today is Wednesday the 28th of February. Nothing major red news wise for us. However, here with G20 meetings all day, orange folder. And then we do have some FOM speakers later on in the afternoon. Shouldn't be any major impact, so hopefully the markets will behave properly today. Wasn't able to get any trades in yesterday because we didn't get the setup, so I didn't trade Tuesday the 27th. Let's jump onto the higher time frame now, see what we've got. Kind of come up into this volume imbalance on the weekly and rejected away from it so far. We do have that fair value gap that we highlighted on Monday, which looks like it may be coming back to get rebalanced now, so this could be an immediate rebalance, which would be a target of taking out the weekly low. Obviously we are on an inversion fair value gap here as well on the weekly at the moment, so we traded through that. May come back in as a back test of it before we go further. That great big wick that we're generating so far looks kind of bearish. Large move on Monday, which unfortunately we were unable to catch. Doji yesterday, so indecision yesterday. We took Monday's high and then it reversed and essentially done nothing. And then coming into today's session, we can see that we are already through Asia. It looks like we are displacing lower. Monday's low is obviously a target. Just based on the daily. Drop to the 4 hour. So we do have this large fair value gap here, which would be an inversion fair value gap if we close through that on the 4 hour. We displaced up higher, kind of consolidated through Tuesday, and then have now begun dropping lower. We've left a fair value gap, bearish fair value gap here. It looks like we're going to leave another bearish fair value gap here in the next couple of hours or so. It's similar to what we had on Monday, unfortunately, in that Monday, coming into the London session, we had already started displacing higher, and then we were unable to catch the long to continue this. If price is already displacing like this prior to the macro, makes things awkward. Well, you can see price is displacing already, which means that our first macro at least may not do much. So we have hourly inversion fair value gap up here. This is a bit of a frustrating week when you're seeing this, because we don't want to be, the bias is bearish. I am expecting these lows to get run now, but I really don't like taking short trades in such a deep discount. I would much prefer a pullback into a premium and then displacement lower. So we may have to be patient. I'm going to learn my lesson from Monday where we took the loss on Monday. I didn't take the trade yesterday because we had already, I did have a bullish bias expecting the high to get taken, and you can see coming in prior to the macro we'd already done that. So I didn't want to take longs up in the range, and then the short trade that did eventually develop I wasn't at the screen for, so there was no trade yesterday. We can see Monday price was already displacing. We never got our entry for the long on Monday. It's been difficult this week, and then it looks like I'm not overconfident today because we are displacing lower prior to the macro opening up. So I would want a pullback. Okay. So similar situation on Dixie. I'm just going to reinvert this, so that's an inverted chart. So this is what the Dixie looked like yesterday. Similar thing, doji candle. hovering again around this fair value gap. Weekly, we still have that fair value gap holding us up. We've wicked down through the fair value gap and then coming up. We've obviously tested 50% of this wick and are coming up. Currently setting in the high of the week. Given that we are delivering from this fair value gap, eyes are on external liquidity all the way up here. But again, difficult because we're trapped in between two fair value gaps. Which is why price action may be a little bit tricky to deal with at the moment. It'd be nice to get a closure through that so we can just get a clear run to these highs if the DIX is going to go higher, or at least close through this fair value gap so we can start getting some displacement lower. At the moment, we're sandwiched. Again, very bullish move already happening through Asia into London on the Dixie, which is what we'd expect, obviously, with Euro running. We have taken out Monday's high already, so there's a little bit of SMT. If we compare Dixie's taken Monday's high. Euro's failed to take Monday's low, so the Euro's not dropped as fast as the Dixie has pumped up. This is the next swing high for the Dixie, which is from Tuesday the 20th of February. So if we are going to deliver this inversion fair value gap, which is kind of more or less where we are at the moment, and we will be looking for external liquidity up here. Just out of interest, this long wick, if we just tapped 50% of that, slightly above or slightly below 50% yesterday, and then retraced in on the 4 hour. Similar situation, leaving an inversion fair value gap on the 4 hour. I'm going to delete this daily inversion because we already know that we're already delivering from that. You can see we're developing a BPR here on the 4 hour. We've got a bullish fair value gap that's just been generated with a bearish fair value gap from Monday overlapping each other. So where the two overlap, this is a BPR area just down here. Relative equal highs on the 4 hour. I'm just tapping this swing high on the 4. So we may get a pullback, having taken this liquidity, potentially get a pullback on Dixie to allow us to try and get an entry on our Euro. This counts down to this order block here. These down closed candles here. Mitigation block. This bullish candle is a mitigation block from the opposing side. So that lines up with discount and optimal trade entry. It's just running away from you. I don't want to be fading this after such a strong move. Literally no pullbacks on the hour, just displacing higher. And yeah, the 15, it's just gone on it. So I'm going to invert the Dixie chart again. So now these should be mirroring each other. We'll obviously have a bit of SMT given the fact that Dixie has taken those lows, whereas Euro has failed to take them, so that's bullish SMT for the Euro. But I am bearish for the day. I expect those to get taken. Just out of interest, has the pound taken those lows? Has it taken Monday's low? Yeah, so the pound's dropping. The pound's already taken its low from Monday, so this is Monday's low. So we've got Dixie and the pound dropping at a similar rate. Pound in fact even taking Friday's low, as the Dixie has as well, but the euro is lagging. So we have SMT between the pound and the euro. We also have SMT between the Dixie and the euro. So the euro is the stronger of the two. Because the pound's already swept its liquidity, there is a chance that the Dixie doesn't need to. The euro doesn't need to. So we're just into the macro now. First couple of minutes of the macro has opened up while we were doing that analysis. That's relative equal highs here on the Dixie on the 1 minute. Seeing if there is any liquidity to indicate that we may get a reversal. So I've just taken that low. So I want to see if Dixie sweeps this and then starts giving us displacement higher. A really nice easy liquidity run here, trend line liquidity. Take out, likewise with the euro. We've just taken some 15-minute liquidity here on the euro. We've got relative equal highs here. On a small time frame, we may get a scalp if we get the setup, but I need to see this low get taken out. I'm observing the same low on the euro, on the pound, so I want to see the pound take its low as well. That way Dixie and the pound have both taken levels of liquidity for a potential reversal, and then the euro, which has already taken a zone of liquidity, may be able to go higher. The euro is obviously the strongest of these three at the minute. It has not dropped as fast as the pound or the Dixie. I'm not interested in looking for a long here at the minute because the Dixie has failed to take this swing low. So because the Dixie hasn't taken that low, it's going to come back for it. Obviously this is a Thursday or Friday's low from last week, whereas with this is just a 15-minute swing low. It's not a significant low. On the euro, we're not seeing large engulfments here on the euro, so we've closed over an inversion fair value gap, but that is not an engulfing candle. You can see the largest candle is this bearish candle at the moment. So I'm not even monitoring for a trade at this point because the Dixie has not done anything. I'm just monitoring the pound on the other screen as well, and that hasn't taken the liquidity that I was highlighting either. I think this could be inducement. You see on the 5, optimal trade is just at the bottom of this order block into a fair value gap. Just waiting for it to hit this zone on the 5 minute, and then I'll drop to the 1 minute around optimal trade entry, see if we get our pattern to take it short, based on the fact that I believe Dixie needs to come and take this low. On the Dixie, we've generated liquidity over the top of a previous daily low. That was a previous daily low, wasn't it? Relative equal lows on the 15. We had a couple of relative equal lows on the 15. We've come down and generated liquidity above them into optimal trade entry area. Now, so there was no entry here. We did build a little bit of SMT. We were creating relative equal lows here, whereas euro was pushing higher, but there was no engulfing candle. So there's nothing that I would have done to take this long, especially given that we had this draw on liquidity below us. Dixie's just coming into optimal trade entry and the order block now. Only got 3 minutes left now, so we're not going to get an entry into macro 1. It's just run away without us in both directions. So there was no opportunity to get long, having swept that low, and obviously having this liquidity, engineering liquidity just above previous equal lows. I wouldn't have been confident with a long there, even though price has run away. Coming up to the end of the macro, we are in a zone where we might potentially get a reversal. The target is still the weekly low, so we are still really looking for shorts. We've got this pullback. Our target is taking out the weekly low down here. So maybe we may get some kind of reversal offered to us in the next macro. So you've got SMT there, look, straight after the macro. This has taken that high. This has created lows. And we've got our first FVG here. Get a large engulfing candle. It's not going to close through it though. Okay, we'll have to come back for macro 2, see what we'll get offered in macro 2. So here we are, coming up to the second macro, and would you believe it? The silver bullet trade played out, did exactly what we were expecting. So we had that SMT at the top. We've got this displacement candle. So there would have been the entry closing through 1, 2, 3, 4 fair value gaps. Still only a 5 pip stop loss, so a nice 5 pip stop loss to our, essentially just taking us out down to the fair value gap that we previously identified and that level of liquidity, so previous day's low, which has been tapped. So that was the silver bullet trade. Nice entry. Retracement back into this 5-minute order block that we'd mentioned, and then obviously displacement lower coming into silver bullet. So a good solid trade. Coming into this macro, now that we've had that move, we've taken previous day's low out. We had this on Monday as well, I believe. We missed the entry and it happened in silver bullet. Again, don't know if I want to look for a reversal here. Obviously we are bearish on the day, displacing lower. So obviously we're inside an inversion fair value gap here. This is what this pink shaded area is. We do have a low from Thursday the 22nd. So this looks like in the macros it's just going to be difficult to get in line with price action. Really would have been ideal to take that silver bullet trade for another couple of minutes. We could have had that entry. As I mentioned earlier, the thing that put me off, we had an engulfing there, but it didn't close above this fair value gap. We can see we had a pullback into the order block. So this here is a change in state of delivery, because this would have been a bullish order block, these two up closed candles, and we closed through them. So this is your change in state of delivery. We came back, we retested the order block, and then we had the displacement lower. So the entry would have been on this large engulfing candle with low hanging fruit target of the equal lows that we'd created there. And literally that was 3 minutes after I left the screen that occurred. A bit of a shame. Maybe need to hang around for the silver bullet if I can, instead of being off the screen so soon. So we're just into the macro now. Let's have a look. So I'm just marking out 15-minute swing lows. You really want to see the Dixie and the Euro taking these levels of liquidity at the same time. My bias and my target was that, so we've reached the target for the day. So honestly, I don't think I'm going to take an entry here. Feels like I'm chasing price. My initial analysis was that we would take out the previous daily low Sadly, didn't get the entry. We've now reached my target for the day, so I'm kind of hesitant to just jump into a trade now for the sake of it. Taken a loss already this week on Monday. If it's not an ideal setup, then I don't want to take it. The ideal setup was the silver bullet setup with the large engulfing, so I don't think I'm going to trade this. That's the end of the macro then, unfortunately. No entries today in the London session. The trade was the silver bullet trade. SMT, engulfing candle, coming down for these lows in line with the bearish bias. So that's the video for today. I hope the analysis was useful. A little bit disappointing that we didn't get in on the action here. Missed out just by a minute. This is what it is. Didn't want to rush into anything inside the macros, having taken a loss on Monday already. If you did find the analysis useful, please leave the video a thumbs up. Any questions or comments, please leave them down in the comments section below. It'd be great to hear your feedback. And likewise, if you're enjoying this content and want to see more videos around this strategy and how I'm trading the London session, then please consider subscribing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again in the next video.